this computer. All right, here we go. We are continuing with Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's library. Yesterday we read chapter 1, which talked about why he was grounded for the week. Let's keep going. Chapter 2, halfway across town, Dr. Zanina Zinchenko, the world-famous librarian, was walking briskly through the cavernous building that was only days away from its gala grand opening. Alexandria's new public library had been under construction for 5 years. All work had been done with the utmost secrecy, under the tightest possible security. One crew did the exterior renovations on what had once been the small Ohio city's most magnificent building, the Gold Leaf Bank. Other crews, carpenters, masons, electricians, and plumbers worked on the interior. No single construction crew stayed on the job longer than 6 weeks. No crew knew what any of the other crews had done or would be doing. And when all those crews were finished, several super secret covert crews, highly paid workers who would deny ever having been near the library, Alexandriaville, or the state of Ohio, stealthily applied the final touches. Dr. Zinchenko had supervised the construction project for her employer, a very eccentric, some would say loony, billionaire. Only she knew all the marvels and wonders the incredible new library would hold and hide within its walls. Dr. Zinchenko was a tall woman with blazing red hair. She wore an expensive, custom-tailored business suit, jazzy high-heeled shoes, a Bluetooth earpiece, and glasses with thick red frames. Heels clicking along the marble floor, fingers tapping on the glass of her very advanced tablet computer. Dr. Zinchenko strode past the control center's red door, under an arch, and into the breathtakingly large circular reading room beneath the library's 3-story tall rotunda. The bank building, which provided the shell for the new library, had been built in 1931. With towering Corinthian columns, an arched entryway, lots of fancy trim, and a mammoth shimmering gold dome, the building looked like it belonged next door to the triumphant memorials in Washington, D.C., not on this small Ohio town's quaint streets. Dr. Zinchenko paused to stare up at the library's most stunning visual effect, the Wonder Dome. 10 wedge-shaped, high-definition video screens, as brilliant as those in Times Square, lined the underbelly of the dome like so many orange slices. Each screen could operate independently or part of a spectacular whole. The Wonder Dome could become the constellations of the night sky, a flight through the clouds that made viewers below sense that the whole building had somehow lifted off the ground. Or, in Dewey Decimal mode, 10 sections depicting vibrant and constantly changing images associated with each category in the library cataloging system. I have the final numbers for the 4th sector of the Wonder Dome in Dewey mode, Dr. Zinchenko said into her Bluetooth earpiece. 364.1092. She carefully over-enunciated each word to make certain the video artist knew what specific numbers should occasionally drift across the 4th wedge amid the swirling social sciences montage, featuring a floating judge's gavel, a tumbling teacher's apple, and a gentle snowfall of holiday icons. The numbers, however, should not appear until 11 a.m. Sunday. Is that clear? Yes, Dr. Zinchenko, replied a tinny voice in her ear. Next, Dr. Zinchenko studied the holographic statues projected into black crepe-lined recesses cut into the massive stone piers that supported the arched windows from which the Wonder Dome rose. Why are Shakespeare and Dickens still here? They're not on the list for opening night. Sorry, replied the library's director of holographic imagery, who was also on the conference call. I'll fix it. Thank you. Exiting the rotunda, the librarian entered the children's room. It was dim, with only a few work lights glowing, but Dr. Zinchenko had memorized the layout of the miniature tables and was able to march without bumping her shins to the story corner for a final check on her recently installed geese. The flock of 6 audio animatronic gooselings, fluffy robots with ping-pongish eyeballs, created for the new library by Imagineers who used to work at Disney World, stood perched atop an angled bookcase in the corner. Mother Goose, in her bonnet and granny glasses, was frozen in the center. This is Librarian 1, said Dr. Zinchenko, loud enough for the microphones hidden in the ceiling to pick up her voice. Initiate storytime sequence. The geese sprang to mechanical life. Nursery rhyme. The geese honked out Ba Ba Black Sheep in 6-part harmony. Treasure Island. The birds yo-ho-hoed their way through 15 men on a dead man's chest. Dr. Zinchenko clapped her hands. The rollicking geese stopped singing and swaying. Oh, look, rollicking. That was part of your guys' vocab words today for benchmark also. One more, she said. Squinting, she saw a book sitting on a nearby table. Walter, the farting dog. The 6 geese spun around and farted, their tail feathers flipping up in sync with the noisy blasts. Excellent. End story time. The geese slumped back into their sleep mode. Dr. Zinchenko made one more tick on her computer tablet. Her final punch list was growing shorter and shorter, which was a very good thing. The library's grand opening was set for Friday night. Dr. Z and her army of associates had only a few days left to smooth out any kinks in the library's complex operating system. Suddenly, Dr. Zinchenko heard a low, rumbling growl. Turning around, she was eyeball to icy blue eyeball with a very rare white tiger. Dr. Zinchenko sighed and touched her Bluetooth earpiece. Miss G, this is Dr. Z. What is our white Bengal tiger doing in the children's department? I see. Apparently there was a slight misunderstanding. We do not want him permanently positioned near the Jungle Book. Check the call numbers 599.757. Right, he should be in zoology. Yes, please, right away. Thank you, Miss G. And like a vanishing mirage, the tiger disappeared. Chapter 3. Of course, even though he was grounded, Kyle Keeley still had to go to school. Mike, Curtis, Kyle, time to wake up, his mother called from down in the kitchen. Kyle plopped his feet on the floor, rubbed his eyes, and sleepily looked around his room. The computer handed down from his brother Curtis was sitting on the desk that used to belong to his brother, Mike. The rug on the floor, with its Cincinnati Reds logo, had also been Mike's when he was 12 years old. The books lined up in the bookcase had been lined up on Mike's and Curtis's shelves, except for the ones Kyle got each year for Christmas from his grandmother. He still hadn't read last year's edition. Kyle wasn't big on books, unless they were the instruction manual or hint guide to a video game. He had a Sony PlayStation set up in the family room. It wasn't the high-def Blu-ray PS3. It was the one Santa had brought Mike maybe 4 years earlier. Mike kept the brand new Blu-ray model locked up in his bedroom. But still, clunker that it was, the 4-year-old gaming console in the family room worked. Except this week. Well, it worked, but Kyle's dad had taken away his TV and computer privileges. So unless he just wanted to hear the hard drive hum, there was really no point in firing up the PlayStation until the next Sunday when his sentence ended. When you're grounded in this house, his father had said, you're grounded. If Kyle needed a computer for homework during this last week of school, He could use his mom's, the one in the kitchen. His mom had no games on her computer. Okay, she had Diner Dash, but that didn't really count. Being grounded in the Keeley household meant you couldn't do anything except, as his dad put it, think about what you did that caused you to be grounded. Kyle knew what he had done. He'd broken a window. But hey, I also beat my big brothers. Good morning, Kyle, his mom said when he hit the kitchen. She was sitting at her computer desk, sipping coffee and tapping keys. Grab a toaster tart for breakfast. Curtis and Mike were already in the kitchen, chowing down on the last of the good toaster tarts, the frosted cupcake swirls. They'd left Kyle the unfrosted brown sugar cinnamon, the ones that tasted like the box they came in. New library opens Friday, just in time for summer vacation, Kyle's mom mumbled, reading her computer screen. Been 12 years since they tore down the old one. Listen to this. Listen to this, boys. Dr. Yanina Zinchenko, the new public library's head librarian, promises her patrons will be surprised by what they find inside. Really? Said Kyle, who always liked a good surprise. I wonder what they'll have in there. Books, maybe, said Mike. It's a library, Kyle. Still, said Curtis, I can't wait to get my new library card. Because you're a nerd, said Mike. I prefer the term geek, said Curtis. Well, I gotta go, said Kyle, grabbing his backpack. Don't want to miss the bus. He hurried out the door. What Kyle really didn't want to miss were his friends. A lot of them had Sony PSPs and Nintendo 3DSs, loaded with lots and lots of games. Kyle fist bumped and knuckle knocked his way up the bus aisle to his usual seat. Almost everybody wanted to say hey to him, except of course Sierra Russell. Like always, Sierra, who was also a 7th grader, was sitting in the back of the bus, her nose buried in a book, probably one of those about girls who lived in tiny homes on the prairie or something. Ever since her parents divorced and her dad moved out of town, Sierra Russell had been incredibly quiet and spent all her free time reading. Nice shirt, said Akimi Hughes as Kyle slid into the seat beside her. Thanks, it used to be Mike's. Doesn't matter, it's still cool. Akimi's mother was Asian, her dad Irish. She had very long jet black hair, extremely blue eyes, and a ton of freckles. What are you playing? Kyle asked, because Akimi was frantically working the controls on her PSP 3000. Squirrel Squad, said Akimi. One of Mr. Lemoncello's best, said Kyle, who had the same game on his PlayStation. The one he couldn't play for a week. You need a hand? Nah. Watch out for the beehives. I know about the beehives, Kyle. I'm just saying. Yes. What? I cleared level 6, finally. Awesome. Kyle did not mention that he was up to level 27. Akimi was his best friend. Friends don't gloat to friends. When I shot the squirrels at the falcons, said Akimi, the pilots parachuted. If a squirrel bit the pilot in the butt, I got 50-point bonus. Yes, in Mr. Lemoncello's Catapulting Critters game, there were all sorts of wacky jokes. The falcons weren't birds, they were F-16 Falcon fighter jets. And the squirrels? They were nuts, totally bonkers. With swirly whirly pool eyes, they flew through the air jabbering gibberish. They bit butts. This was one of the main reasons why Kyle thought everything that came out of Mr. Lemoncello's imagination factory, board games, puzzles, video games, was amazingly awesome. For Mr. Lemoncello, a game just wasn't a game if it wasn't a little goofy around the edges. So, did you pick up the bonus code? Asked Kyle. Huh? In the freeze frame there. Akimi studied the screen. Turn it over. Akimi did. See that number tucked in the corner? Type that in next time the home screen asks for your password. Why? What happens? You'll see. Akimi slugged him in the arm. What? Well, don't be surprised if you start flinging flaming squirrels on level 7. Get out. Try it, you'll see. I will, this afternoon. So, did you write your extra credit essay? Huh? What essay? The one that's due today? About the new public library? Refresh my memory. Akimi sighed. Because the old library was torn down 12 years ago, the 12-year-olds who write the best essays on why I'm excited about the new public library will get to go to the library lock-in this Friday night. Huh? The winners will spend the night in the new library before anybody else even gets to see the place. Is this like the movie Night at the Museum? Will the books come alive and chase people around in junk? No, but there will probably be free movies and food and prizes and games. All of a sudden, Kyle was interested. We will stop there.